How to play Supreme Commander 2 properly. Let's go. Step 1, money. Well, you're gonna be fighting on all fronts at all times, so we can't exactly fund a war with hopes and dreams, can we? The nukes, robots, and T-Rexes don't pay for themselves.
Hey, John, here we see a fucking idiot. What the fuck is he doing?
Building a stable economy. Which is surprisingly extremely simple. On these funny little green pad-looking things, you'll see that I'm building mass extractors. Mass extractors is basically the $100 bill of this game. Just like in real life, if you don't have it, you'll have no friends, your girlfriend will leave you, and you'll be nuked 6 times. Next up is research. How do you build the nukes and T-Rexes? I don't know, man. Figure it out. Well, we figure this out by placing down these funny little buildings that are called research stations. They make that magical little number in the top left, highlighted in orange, go up at a differing pace depending on how many you've decided to build. If you're a complete schizomaniac freak like me, you're gonna learn that you need to build things in mass pretty much unconditionally. Energy. Energy is significantly easier to produce in mass, as you don't need a special green tile on the ground to tell you where to place it. This, in the end game, basically gives you unlimited money because along with your research points, you can use those research points to redeem them for something called a mass converter. This converts energy into mass, being separated by a small cooldown, essentially making it so that endgame Supreme Commander 2 is literally just a massive battle of attrition. Since Supreme Commander 2 never usually boils down to who's using their resources more correctly, it usually ends up being an overwhelming display of force. Factions: the Illuminate, UEF, and Cybran. So the first one that I'll actually be trying to cover is Illuminate, and I'm not gonna hold you. I despise these guys. Their whole theme is the
floaty halo looking aesthetic.
which is cool and all until you realize that their floaty saucer things that cost a ton of money to make are better off dead than they are actually assaulting your enemy. When these things fall, they destroy absolutely everything underneath of them. So your best bet is to use said infinite money generator. Dude, this is gonna land on all my stuff. Oh my, right in the center of it all. That's so annoying. And then just slam these things into your opponent relentlessly, okay? No strategy, no brain, just death. Something cool that they do have is something called the loyalty cannon, which is where a loyalty cannon is kind of like artillery because it has a set like range that it can shoot that is actually pretty big. It can shoot behind mountains and stuff, as seen in the footage here. And what it does is it beams an enemy. It can be an experimental, it can be their biggest, baddest unit that costs the most to make, and it will slowly convert it over to your side. Literally, the best use case for this is when someone's sending a small army over to you, and the cannon can just constantly convert one enemy at a time, so the entire army has to turn on that one. It is the funniest thing ever. The faction isn't terrible, I just find it just boring to play. There's not even necessarily a rational reason for it, but it's just, I don't know, the units are very bland, they shoot lasers, it's not fun to look at. Someone say fun to look at? How about a cyber T-Rex? Cybran. The Cybran are by far the coolest faction to look at. Like, it's not even close. We got monkey robots, we got T-Rex robots, we got robots. And yes, I am talking trash about the Illuminate in the Cybran portion of the video because these guys got artillery. Like any actual self-respecting warmonger would actually have. This artillery is unique from the UEF because it actually removes the fog of war with a research upgrade. Which means the second that the shells start falling, there is a 0% chance that you will ever not hit anything ever again. Which is just as overpowered as it sounds, seeing as artillery doesn't take any kind of ammunition or anything, which means the bombardment from the second you build it to the second the game ends is literally unending, which is both a testament to how good this faction is and how incredibly unbalanced this game actually is. Now, I bought this game a very long time ago for the Xbox 360 because that's what I used to play video games on, and I bought it for my PC and convinced 2 of my buddies to get it too, and this is how I've enjoyed the game for the majority of my year. Now, I've never played the first Supreme Commander, but the people that swear by Supreme Commander hate this game. Could be to the oversimplification of the research system. It could be just the graphics not being as good as the first game because it was a console game as well. There's a ton of factors that go into why people generally don't like this game as much as the first one. And I think the Cybran personifies that more than any of the other factions in the game. The Cybran embody pure aggression. Oh yeah, and did I mention that they have a nuke redirector?
So let me get a picture of.
Oh, boomerang! UEF. The UEF is just boring. They're UNSC ripoff number 700 billion. However, they are the most middle-of-the-road faction. Perfectly balanced. They embody the aggression of the Cybran while also holding the stability and defense of the Illuminate. But not as good as either of those things. Their balance makes them pretty much an exclusive pick for competitive play. Although they do have things like the Aegis shield, which is this massive bubble shield that can cover basically your entire base in one fell swoop. I do find myself basically cramming shields in every opportunity that I possibly can because these things are very underwhelming in terms of performance. In terms of who is objectively the best, I would obviously have to go with UEF. Their balance makes it so they never really fall short in any area, which is incredibly important. Luckily though, just because they're the best doesn't mean I have to like them. To those who know the game very well and are watching this, I would like to thank you for listening to my most smooth brain takes ever. And to those who have absolutely no idea what this game is, buy it now. It is so good. It's the most pure fun a few human beings can have at the same time. Just boot up the game completely blind with 2 friends, 3 friends, even 4 friends, get in a free-for-all match, and just go to town.